so they can be arrested and extradited to the United States. One of them already is under arrest, and the United States began efforts today to extradite him. Juan Vasquez reports from Bogota.
The Colombian government displayed its biggest catch so far in the current offensive against drug traffickers. Eduardo Martinez Romero, a man the U.S. considers a major money launderer for the Medellin cartel. He will remain in prison outside Bogota while the U.S. draws up extradition papers based on a federal indictment in Atlanta.
It's certain that we want him in the United States. We want to prosecute him here, and we're discussing with them how to get him back here.
U.S. narcotics experts say this will be a test case because Colombians have not been eager in the past to send their criminals to face Yankee justice.
The best thing would be for us to deal with our own criminals and to judge them and to put them to jail. But the fact is that people have become desperate. They understand that this is not working.
The U.S. Embassy is considered a likely target for attack if Martinez and others are extradited to the United States to face justice there.
I fully expect that they will bring threats and even attempts at assault and violence to the United States. After all, those are the weapons that they know, and most important, those are the weapons that have worked for them.
Even though the biggest fish of all have escaped the government's net so far, their property hasn't. The estates of Pablo Escobar and Jorge Ochoa, the kingpins of the cocaine trade, have been seized by the Army. They've also confiscated a small air force belonging to the cartel, at least 62 airplanes and 18 helicopters, and of course the product itself. U.S. narcotics experts say that in the current year the Colombian government has seized an astonishing 23 tons of cocaine, making this a very tough year for the drug cartel. But U.S. narcotics experts say the cartel has been stockpiling cocaine and has so much on hand, it may be months before the impact of the current crackdown can be seen on the streets of the United States. Juan Vasquez, CBS News, Bogota.
We have more details now on Attorney General Thornburg's announcement of Colombian drug kingpins wanted in this country. For that, we go to Wyatt Andrews at the Vacation White House in Kennebunkport, Maine. Wyatt?
Good evening, Connie. As Juan just reported, for most of the last 2 years, the Colombians have not wanted to extradite any of their top drug suspects for trial in the United States. But this recent wave of assassinations seems, at least temporarily, to have changed all that. And this list of the dirty dozen, if you will, is a message from the Bush administration that as long as extraditions are back on, these are the 12 men the United States most badly wants. Of course, at the top of the list, Pablo Escobar and Jorge Ochoa, the men believed at the head of the Colombian cartel. Late this afternoon, Attorney General Richard Thornburg was asked if the United States now faces an increasing risk of violence by asking, in effect, to bring to trial Colombia's top criminals here.
Whatever consequences ensue from our enforcing the law are simply part of the risk that we assume in living in a society that depends upon the rule of law. We can't succumb in this country to what has already brought the criminal justice system to its knees in Colombia. They are rising from their knees, they are standing up to these drug traffickers, and they deserve every bit of support that we can give them, and that support will be forthcoming.
To the Bush administration, the releasing of this list is a subtle way to increase the pressure on Colombia to capture some of these criminals, while the crisis atmosphere down in Colombia is still on. Connie, we should report that as far as we know at this moment, all of the men on this dirty dozen list are still fugitives. They have escaped, as far as we know, the recent drug crackdown.
All right. Thank you, Wyatt Andrews.
Thank you.
The drug wars today may have claimed a man who made his name a symbol for resistance and revolution in the stormy 1960s. Huey Newton, a co-founder of the militant Black Panther Party, was shot to death this morning on a street in Oakland, California. Police have no suspects and no motive. Newton, 47 years old, was remembered by a former colleague as a student of the world. He was remembered by a prosecutor as nothing but a gangster. John Blackstone reports.
Huey Newton was killed in an Oakland neighborhood where drug deals and the sound of gunfire in the night are not unusual.
It's just sad that someone like Huey Newton has been reduced to being slain on the streets of West Oakland.
In these same streets, Newton was once known as a man with a mission of liberation. In recent years, though, his scrapes with the law had nothing to do with politics. His last arrest was drug-related.
He died a victim of the same drug that in recent years he had been very involved in selling. I'm sure that crack cocaine is a part of this whole story.
As a founder of the Black Panthers and at times an advocate of armed insurrection, Newton spent most of the 60s and 70s fighting legal battles.
I'm not guilty of anything.
Over the years, charges against him included killings and beatings, but none of the serious charges ever stuck for long. Whenever he was behind bars, Newton became for many a symbol of injustice.
Say it loud. Huey P. Newton. And where's Huey? In jail.
There was something about Huey. He knew how to take civil disobedience and put it on the cutting edge.
But by the early 80s, the Black Panthers had disappeared as a force. There were no crowds of supporters at the courthouse when Newton faced charges of stealing money from a community school or possession of drug-related equipment. Newton still showed up on the talk show circuit from time to time.
So we were wiped out systematically.
The FBI killed him. When I say killed him, I don't mean to put a gun to his head. They destroyed him as a person, where he became a paranoid, sick person.
Those who knew him say there were two Huey Newtons. One disappeared somewhere along the way from the 60s and 70s. The other was murdered this morning in Oakland. John Blackstone, CBS News, San Francisco.
In suburban Washington, D.C., they were mourning the death of a young man, an apparent innocent victim of the drug wars. Members of the Guardian Angels say 19-year-old Dorian Brown was a trainee for them when he was shot and killed Saturday night in a drug-plagued apartment complex. Brown was an example of the many people nationwide who are fighting drugs and losing the fight. Christine Negroni tells us about others.
You want to go take a look at the crack house, the old crack house, and then go through the park? Let's do that.
On New York's East Side, residents walk a beat, rousting suspected drug dealers.
We are fighting people who want to destroy our quality of life, who want to destroy our neighborhoods, who want to destroy our lives.
Across the country, angry citizens are trying to get drugs and drug users out of their neighborhoods. But 18-year-old Michael Taylor was stabbed to death when he tried to chase two crack smokers from his family's apartment building. Now his mother is leading a community patrol.
We're going to keep our block. They want to kill us, they'll kill us. They want to beat us up, they'll beat us up.
Confounded by a lack of progress in the war against drugs, the federal government is counting on citizen soldiers. But the front line is a dangerous place.
No one is asking citizens to go out and stand in the line of fire. But we will ask citizens, when we think the situation warrants it, to come back and reclaim their streets.
Anti-drug activists often confront well-armed drug dealers with nothing more than their anger. Automatic weapons were used to kill Miami grocer Lee Lawrence, who was known for standing up to crack dealers.
And I'm getting sick and tired of it. Nothing done, drugs being sold everywhere. That's all go on in this community. And nothing being done about it. Nothing.
Outside Washington, a 16-year-old scheduled to testify in a drug trial was ambushed and shot. In Chicago, a priest pressuring stores to stop selling drug paraphernalia received so many death threats, he's now under 24-hour police guard. Private citizens are clearly outgunned.
When it comes to confronting armed drug dealers, citizens should just stay back. Even if the police aren't solving the problem, the citizens aren't going to make anything better by going out and getting themselves killed.
Maria Hernandez fought the drug dealers on her block. She was murdered in a neighborhood so ridden with drugs, her funeral cortege rolled past dozens of empty crack vials. It's a neighborhood where crack is everywhere. Say no to drugs billboards have been turned into a joke, and the decision to get involved is a tough one.
I see somebody doing something, it's not my business. I just walk away.
Because if somebody speaks out, they'll definitely watch you, and that'll be the end of you.
So what about the innocent people? What's going to be done for the innocent people?
That question is becoming more and more urgent. Some people thought they had the answers when they enlisted in the war against drugs, but they are losing one battle after another. Christine Negroni, CBS News, New York.
Still to come on the CBS Evening News, 2 for the record books. David Dow on today's newfound ring around the planet Neptune. And Bruce Morton on tonight's possible new crown for Nolan Ryan. Only 6 strikeouts to go.
Today is Thursday.
Yesterday it rained and, my arthritis pain acted up. So I took aspirin. Today it's cold and damp and I'm still aching. So I'm taking more aspirin. I take aspirin often when I need relief, and my aspirin's Bufferin.
Like Bayer, Bufferin contains strong 100% aspirin.
So I get that aspirin relief I want.
And Bufferin has buffers to help protect against stomach upset plain aspirin can cause. Bufferin, if you take aspirin more than once a week.
This is one of 570 million refund locations for American Express traveler's checks. Now, anywhere you can find a phone, you can get a refund. Hand delivered anywhere you want, virtually anywhere in the world. But remember, this new service comes only from American Express traveler's checks. So if your bank doesn't carry them, go to one that does. Don't leave home without them.
I'm a born skeptic. So these deals and cashbacks everybody's shouting about go right by me. Now GM's saying they're having their biggest sale ever on every single GM 89 car and light truck. Please, see me buying that?
Announcing GM's Big Easy Sale with over $1 billion in rebates and dealer incentives.
I bought it.
And it's on right now.
2 days from its rendezvous with the planet Neptune, Voyager 2 made a major discovery today. It found that Neptune is not as astronomers thought it was. David Dow reports.
Voyager 2 today changed our view of Neptune. As it turns out, the giant planet has a ring around it, a halo of particles about 16,000 miles from its surface. Scientists discovered it while studying one of two faint ring arcs, ring fragments they'd previously seen.
It is indeed a completely new ring, but it is a very tenuous ring. That is, there's very little material in it.
Neptune is the fourth outer planet to reveal rings, the leftover debris of the solar system. And some suspect that when all the images are in, the other ring arc may turn out to be a second full ring.
There is still a region in which we are unable to see anything at the moment, but if I were to make a guess, I would guess that the ring probably is filled.
Voyager is still about 2 million miles from Neptune, but already it's sending back pictures of Triton, the largest of the planet's 6 known moons. Among those watching the incoming pictures is Soviet geologist Alexander Basilovsky. For the first time, Soviet scientists are official members of a U.S. planetary team, after years of unofficial cooperation between the two countries. With today's ring discovery, Voyager continues to rewrite the textbooks of planetary science. Said one scientist, almost everything we're seeing is new. David Dow, CBS News, at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Several thousand people were on hand at San Diego's SeaWorld yesterday for what they expected to be a few minutes of entertainment. What they saw instead was a collision of leviathans and blood-shrouded death. Jerry Bowen reports.
Home video recorded the unprecedented attack at San Diego's SeaWorld.
It definitely appears there's something social going on.
An 8,000-pound female killer whale named Corky ramming and fatally injuring a smaller female killer whale named Can-Do during a performance at the popular marine park.
He started going really fast in the water, and all of a sudden the two of them met in the middle. And we didn't see any blood. Right, collided.
As it's very obvious there, all of you right now, as it is to us, it looks like Can-Do is obviously bleeding.
The dying Can-Do and her uninjured baby were herded into a separate pool as trainers tried to determine what had happened. Today at SeaWorld, a spokesman said it appeared the smaller whale had initiated the attack.
I'd say that this is probably a very rare occurrence. I think that the social altercation is natural and possibly essential to the survival of the species.
It was just last September that Can-Do gave birth to the whale calf, and some experts say the 14-year-old mother may have been protecting her baby from the 25-year-old Corky, or it could have been a battle for dominance. Critics contend, though, the incident is one more argument against taking killer whales, orcas, out of the wild.
Putting orcas in captivity is a lot like putting an eagle in a parakeet cage. They simply can't swim the hundreds of miles that they're used to swimming every day.
SeaWorld has had a series of problems with its killer whales. 2 years ago, a trainer was severely injured when one whale landed on him while he rode another. 5 months before that, tourists witnessed a bloody ramming between whales in the same tank. Marine scientists say this latest incident raises new questions about SeaWorld's handling of the whales.
If you say that handling is the problem, it indicates that you believe that this species can be handled, and we don't.
Today, the show went on at SeaWorld with officials declining comment on their handling of the killer whales, but promising that a full investigation will be carried out. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Hot tea all day doesn't stop this dentuera from hitting high C.
Hot tea? Fix-it-ent and forget it.
Give up hot chocolate just because I started wearing dentures? Scamp!
Hot chocolate? Fix-it-ent and forget it. Heat-resistant Fix-it-ent spreads evenly to keep on fixing loose spots, no matter how often it gets hot.
I can drink hot coffee all day and still help a lady.
Heat-resistant. One more reason to use Fix-it-ent and forget it.
Tickets for Webb.
We interrupt this purchase for a reminder.
Here we go.
There's another decision worth entertaining.
Very smart.
Choosing the card that actually pays you cash. Cash back for every charge. The Discover card.
I'm starved.
It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back.
Oops, a little imperfection, but a perfect place for Old English scratch cover. It's a simple way to cover a scratch, touch up the marks of time, or a flaw on the floor. Old English scratch cover, a more caring approach to wood care.
Now Total Raisin Bran is no longer the most nutritious. It's new Kellogg's Nutri-Grain Raisin Bran. With more vitamins and minerals, the one with the most nutrition is Nutri-Grain.
West Germany closed its embassy in Prague today, the third German embassy behind the Iron Curtain to shut its doors under the crush of East German refugees. Chancellor Helmut Kohl blamed the refugee crisis on communist East Germany's refusal to reform its system. Hundreds of East Germans have been crossing to the west across Hungary's border with Austria. One refugee was shot to death last night in a scuffle with a border guard. Hungary said it was an accident. In Poland, the Communist Party fought on today for more jobs in the new Solidarity government. Soviet President Gorbachev told Poland's communist chief that Poland's economic problems can't be solved without the party. Improving the economy will be an uphill struggle all the way. Anthony Mason reports.
You can see Poland's economic problem right out on the street. 4 hours before the butcher shop is even open, people take their place in line. Ask a question, you start an argument. She says prices are too high. He says people don't want to work. Joanna Kaczmarczyk is just angry. She spends her days working, waiting online, and caring for 4 children. I'm tired, she says. What do I have to be happy about? These are the faces of Poland's frustration. You can even see it in the eyes of the next prime minister. Tadeusz Mazowiecki must lead his people out of desperate times. Poland is $39 billion in debt. It can't hope to invest in new industry and still pay back what it owes. The country's farmers don't produce enough food. The agricultural system is antiquated, inefficient, and with prices set by the government, there's no incentive to increase production. Even if the system is reformed, the country can't pull out of this crisis on its own.
For help, Poland is turning from east to west, to the United States and Western Europe. The new government will need some of its debts forgiven and will need food to feed its people if it's to have any hope of survival.
In his first speech to the nation tonight, Tadeusz Mazowiecki warned Poles that material goods will come slowly. I cannot promise anything, he said, except truth. We can at least live in a free land. Like the line outside the butcher shop on Gorczewska Street, Poles have a long wait for reform. But the line is finally moving. Anthony Mason, CBS News, Warsaw.
They weren't expecting a 70-year-old coach, that's for sure. But I held my own.
All right, come on.
They never even saw how scared I was. I wouldn't have tried for this job if it hadn't been for AARP. They've got a program that convinces employers that it's smart to hire people like me. I'm not old, People are people. Some of us have just had a little more practice. That's all.
AARP, making a difference. Only Red Lobster could create an event this big. Lobster Fest 89. Lobster choices like nowhere else, starting at just $7.95. Don't miss out on sweet rock lobster or luscious Maine lobster. New platters like lobster and crab. Great lobster dishes starting at just $7.95. Kids dinner $1.95. It all ends August 27th at Red Lobster. Friday through Sunday, it's our weekend special. Steak and shrimp just $10.95.
My wife, she brings me this cereal that tastes magnificent, and it is made with oats. She's crazy for me. Darling, what is this?
Nuttin', honey.
I love it when she talks to me that way.
New Nut and Honey Crunch O's. You'll love the oats.
Uncle Charlie hasn't thought about his dentures all day, because he thought about Orifix this morning.
Orifix 'em. That'll fix 'em.
Orifix has extra hold to hold dentures tight day and night. Orifix 'em. That'll fix 'em.
A new report out tomorrow looks at one of today's major medical mysteries. In the words of one specialist, no one should die from asthma. And yet, in spite of improved treatment and effective drugs, more people are getting asthma and more people are dying from the disease. Medical correspondent Susan Spencer reports.
Dan Gregory, number 14, has asthma, controlled by medication. On the football field, he almost forgets about it, but not quite.
You just feel like somebody's like squeezing on your lungs and you can't breathe in the whole way.
Up to 15 million Americans, over 3 million of them children, know that feeling very well. And according to a status report on asthma due out tomorrow, many more soon will.
For reasons not entirely clear, asthma cases are rising rapidly. Almost 450,000 new ones a year. And deaths are up too, rising 33% from 1979 to 86.
In the inner city, as well as the metropolitan area, we need to be more aware of the fact that asthma is a major problem.
A major problem everywhere, but as the report points out, especially among children and especially among the poor.
One of the things that's of concern to us is that the hospitalization rate and the death rate among minorities is a lot higher than it is for majority people.
Doctors blame environmental factors, pesticides, food additives, air pollution for the overall increase. But in the inner cities, they say, lack of regular health care aggravates this problem particularly. To be controlled, asthma should be constantly watched. Poor families often deal with it only during an attack when they rush to the emergency room.
They are given a prescription, they're given a clinic appointment, but they don't come back for follow-up.
The new report calls for educating the public that asthma is manageable only when treated as a chronic disease, much like diabetes, but that with new drugs and good care, it is manageable. These kids at Space Camp in Florida this weekend are bouncing proof. All are asthmatics, and all are getting regular medication and care.
We have the opportunity to do so much more than we could 10 years ago to give children a chance to lead relatively normal lives.
Even slog it out on the football field.
I'm not willing to give it up, and nobody with asthma should have to give it up.
Susan Spencer, CBS News, Washington.
Getting out and enjoying yourself, that's what life is all about. And it's easy when you have the best bladder control protection. Depend Undergarments has special layers of absorbency that won't bunch or sag, and elastic legs for a better fit. They're the best protection and the best way for you to get back into life. Hey!
Get back into life with Depend.
I got dirty an awful lot when I was little. What am I doing here? You know this.
You're playing baseball.
Yeah, that's right. It came natural to get dirty. Johnson's baby shampoo has been great for my hair all through my life. It's strong. It makes my hair look clean. It makes my hair feel clean, and it's gentle. Look at this kid's hair. I think it looks good.
Johnson's baby shampoo, now also with conditioners for extra control.
I shower 4 or 5 times a day. It's never made me cry.
Johnson's, for the life of your hair.
Whether your taste is for rich, satisfying decaf
Or if extra smooth Mountain Blend decaffeinated is the way to start your day. When you've found a naturally decaffeinated blend that tastes your way.
It's necessarily Nescafe.
Rich decaf or Mountain Blend decaffeinated. Only Nescafe gives you this choice.
Great coffee blends to taste your way. That's necessarily Nescafe.
It isn't often that you get to see someone do something that's never been done before. But the chances are good that's what you'll see tonight if you're in Arlington Stadium, home of the Texas Rangers. The chances are even better you'll see it sooner or later on television. Bruce Morton explains.
Thousands of people play this complicated game. Nolan Ryan plays one part of it better than anybody ever has. Nolan Ryan strikes you out.
When I got to the big leagues, I had no idea whether I was big league talent or not.
The big leagues learned the answer quickly.
Nolan Ryan's a freak.
If Nolan Ryan gets 6 strikeouts against Oakland tonight, he'll have 5,000 strikeouts in his 23-year Major League career. 5,000. Only one other pitcher ever got to 4.
I don't know of anybody else that is ever going to achieve that. I mean, it's just a record that may stand forever.
It's one of the 8th wonders of the world, because this guy's a unique individual.
What would some rookie need to match 5,000 Ks?
A lot of innings. You know, really, the key to a record like this is pitching a lot of innings and maintaining your stuff over an extremely long period of time.
Well, he's done that. Struck out more than 2,000 batters in each league, 42 most valuable player winners, 6 father and son combos.
There's one for you, too.
Texas is ready. T-shirt sales hot, posters moving, tickets scalped at memorably outrageous prices. Is Ryan planning a big celebration?
No, I really don't. At most, you know, we'd probably just go out and eat after the game with some friends that come up for the game.
He is the authentic aw shucks hero. Grew up in a little Texas town, married his childhood sweetheart. Look at the wild emotion he showed when he became the first pitcher to rack up 4,000 strikeouts.
What has to be one of the greatest feats in the history of this great game.
Fastball pitchers are supposed to burn out early. Ryan, age 42, still throws well over 90 miles an hour. A classic pitcher. Fastball, changeup, curve. So the stadium is ready. What will this low-key gladiator do when it actually happens? When somebody swings and misses and it really is 5,000?
Nothing.
That's not quite true. He'll keep the ball and then get ready for 5,001, doing what he does better than anyone ever in the history of the world. Bruce Morton, CBS News, Arlington, Texas.
And that's the CBS Evening News. I'm Connie Chung, sitting in for Dan Rather. See you tomorrow night. Thank you for joining us, and for all of us at CBS News, good night.
I'm Harry Smith. Tomorrow, baseball surprise team, the Chicago Cubs. Also, Parenthood director Ron Howard. On Friday, will join Robert Redford in Utah on CBS This Morning.
This is CBS.